we're back. We've turned the fan on. We are not sweating profusely.
Yet. So, Jeremy, tell me about anything embarrassing that has happened in your life.
What a segue for that.
You were just going to undercut my whole fucking intro, huh?
Yes, I am.
You're just going to jump in here and undercut
Here's the thing.
me.
Before we hit record, like, they were talking about something embarrassing that Jeremy has done.
Okay, so
First of all, my whole life is things embarrassing that Jeremy has done.
The dude's rocking a ruined mullet. You think he's not embarrassed?
Now people are going to have a weird depiction of me. It's not a ruined mullet. It's just what happens when you never have a haircut.
It's party in the front, party in the back, party all around, baby.
It's an untamed party is what it is.
No, because I was talking to Jeremy the other day without you, because, yeah, we hang out without you, Adrian.
I've been, like, off the grid for, a month.
Yeah. But we were talking about a fun intro, fun being relative term, would be, you know that thing that everyone has where you're trying to fall asleep and then your brain is like, hey, remember this embarrassing thing from like 10 years ago?
Yeah, it happened to me last night.
Well, my question was, what was the last thing your brain remembered that kept you up? If it's not, like involving your social security number or something.
One time I accidentally gave my social security number to someone.
Live on a podcast.
Yeah. I was just sitting there and I remember 1, 2, 3, 4,
wow.
5,
6,
7,
really?
8, 9? There's 9 numbers?
And then a 0.
Hang on.
And then a 0?
It's 3, 2, 4, isn't it?
There's 8.
Wouldn't that be 9?
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. And 9 would end at 9.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is 9. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
made a jingle in my head because that's the only way I could remember anything.
Is it 866 66 faster? You've got the green light.
It's very similar, actually.
How do I put faster in the box? So
anyway,
I really don't want to
embarrassing stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was because I thought of it because I had one the night before I told you about that.
You might as well say yours first because if I tell mine, everyone's just gonna want to go home.
So you're gonna love the start of this one. Y'all remember a little game called Kingdom Hearts?
Sure.
Love it, yeah.
Never played it, but I know of the...
Okay,
shame on you.
Basically, no, they're fine games. They're fine.
I'm actually really glad you said shame on me because that's the Mickey one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Disney X Final Fantasy as if written by a 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And around the same age, you remember on like when you were texting, right, back in the day, you could add a signature to the end of all your texts. And it was just like a little string of like maybe 15 characters that would just be tagged on at the end.
Yes. I know that people used to do that, and I used to be like, why the fuck is that there?
Yeah, no, that's correct. Well, I was really in Kingdom Hearts at the time, and basically the theme song Kingdom Hearts is Sanctuary True.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my my signature at the time. And I remember the girl I had a crush on, I was texting her. She was like, by the way, what the fuck does your signature mean? And me in a brilliant effort of being like, what's going to get this girl real into me, I just sent her basically unprompted the entire lyrics of Sanctuary True, and I was like, that's what it means.
I'll be honest, I don't really find that cringy. That
if you knew the song, you'd be like,
it's pretty fucking cringy.
No.
Okay.
The only way it would be worse if you sent her the lyrics to Simple and Clean.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Honestly, though. But yeah,
there's just so many I have to. I'm gonna have to. You know what?
Well, the question was, what was the last one? Because that was the last one that kept me up. We can make this a running anecdote.
To be completely honest, they go through like in my head. It's like a cycle. Like I got 5 or 6 that I got to run through before I can go to bed.
I have the same thing. Where you're like, don't think about that, and then your brain's like, but did you think about this?
I'm gonna tell this one because it's objectively not as funny. It's just cringy. That way, the funnier ones can come later, and we can kind of forget that this one happened. And the weird part about this story is, you are there. Literally, this is a story about how Tyler left me alone for 2 minutes, and I just absolutely embarrassed. Like, literally, you left. 2 minutes later, you came back, and I was like, just do not bring this up. Just continue moving. So
what? I don't know. So I
know.
did it.
Okay, so, all right. So, a few years ago, Tyler and I, we used to meet up with our friends from high school. We used to go to
the lunches that we did?
we used to go to like a diner. By the way, I hate that diner. Like,
Oh my god, I hate it too.
I don't know why we go to this diner.
But because one of the guys was like, "This would be a good middle point for all of us," and it's like, yeah, but like literally across the street, essentially, is like 5 better places.
Yeah.
And I'm including the CVS across the street.
Well, at some point we'd all finished lunch and we were all trying to figure out something to do, and our friend she was driven there by another friend, so she was like, I need to be driven home because she couldn't like hang out with us anymore, and so we were all like, well, why don't we go bowling? It's literally like where we are, you get onto the street,
you drive for like 2 minutes.
yeah,
tops.
literally it is the next parking lot that you need to go onto,
quite literally down the block.
so all of us leave. So Tyler's like, all right, I'll see you there. Walks away. And I get into my car. And within this 2 minutes, this literally changed how I interact with people, because I am so embarrassed
I remember this day vividly. How do I not know this story?
I actually remember kind of like bringing up a little bit, but I was just kind of passing, oh, this weird thing happened. And you were like, I wouldn't worry about that. And I was like, I will worry about this for the rest of my life. All right, so I'm pulling out of the parking lot, and as I'm pulling out, there's a person on a bicycle, and they're going right across. I wait for them to pass, and I just go to pull out. So obviously, I don't pull out in front of them, and they hit me. The problem is that it was on a slight hill, and as I was pulling out, they'd already passed, but my foot slipped, and I just like fucking revved the engine, like fucking peeled out of the parking spot, like fucking fishtailing around, and I was like, whew, I was very close to just killing that person in front of me. So I was like, Anyway,
God.
they're literally like 10 feet down the road, there's a stoplight, and so I was just stuck. I pulled up to this person, and like they're sitting on the other side of the car. And I'm like, ooh, I'm just stuck in this I'm just stuck with a parked car next to a person that's probably
and
like,
they're just staring
they're
at
just
you.
like, motherfucker. What the fuck was that? And I'm just like, whew. All right, it's fine. I'll defuse this situation. So
No!
I roll my window down, and I'm like, hey, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Was worrying that might have scared you or something. And the person, which I now will identify, was a woman, who I've just rolled my window down to. Is sitting there, like, moving her eyes, like, really gently to get me in her vision, and then is looking back like, what the fuck is this person talking to me? And I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, and I, like, about the 3rd or 4th line in, like, she's wearing ear pods. She didn't hear me do any of that.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
So-
She's got AirPods in.
Like, literally, I was like, oh, shit, no! So I just like, pull up this woman. I'm, like, rolling my window down. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, back there, that was weird, right? Yeah, that's right. And she's just like, holy fuck, some random dude is trying to talk to me right now. And I got to the point of, I was like, oh, I think she might be catcalling me. And I'm like, I don't... Oh, she might be catcalling. I might be catcalling her, or the reverse sweep. And I'm just like, okay, it's fine. I'll just defuse the situation. No, it's fine. I'm not trying to catcall you. I just almost hit you with my car. And she's just like, and she literally ran the red light. She just fucking left, and I was just like, all right, that's fine. The fact that she ran the red light to get away from you, and I'm just like, okay, that's fine. And it was green light, and I'm like, I literally pulled into an earlier parking lot. I'm like, do not even fucking make it look like you're going in the general direction of that person. And I pull up to the car. 2 minutes later, get up, like, hey Tyler, what's going on? Nothing weird just happened. I was like, we just went bowling. Yeah, nothing happened. Yeah, and I was like, okay. And so now, for the rest of my life, I've been like, oh my god, if I ever have to talk to someone in that, basically set it up so it at no point ever looks like I'm sexually attracted to them. Just start every sentence with, you're ugly. Anyways, here's
I would never have sex with you in a million years. Anyway, so I need my tax forms filled out, and
and so every day I'm just like, oh my god, there were so many things I could have done there that wouldn't have been weird.
If you did literally nothing, it would have been better.
Because here's the thing.
Better.
Here's the thing. In my eyes, I was like, it's kind of a dick move to almost like run someone over and then not bring it up. If I was about to be run over.
I feel like your intentions were great. It's
it's just that you're an idiot.
It is literally a situation where that woman is probably went home to either talk to her friends or her parents. Something. It was like, you wouldn't believe the fucking creep that just pulled up, rolled down the window, was like, "Hey, sorry I didn't murder you." I had fucking AirPods in. I'm turning the music up. I had to run a red light to get away from him.
The running the red light is the cherry on top of that story. That is so fucking good. She risked being hit by another vehicle to get away from you.
She's like, yeah, that fucking, I don't know what's going on here. Like, and literally, I'm just like, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be like, just hit them with your car. It'll solve so many problems.
Like, I still want to hear Adrian's story after this. And I know it's a little early, but I gotta take one of those real quick, to be honest with you.
Dude, take your... This whole episode, to be honest, is going to be filled with, like, my biggest fears growing up.
I'm so excited. Tell us about what kept you up at night last night, though.
I don't want to.
You have to now. You told us about how we sexually harassed and nearly murdered a woman.
All right, so I'm not going to tell you...
that's an out-of-context quote that will definitely cancel me in the future.
All right, so I'm not going to tell you what actually kept me up because it's very not safe for the podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I was just doing this girl right. Ooh, yeah.
So I had this dream that I was just railing both of you in the podcast room.
I feel like at this point in the podcast, that's fine for the podcast.
At this point, yeah. But one that does keep playing on in my mind was something that happened to me when I was like 14 or 15 years old in high school. So for those of you who don't know, even though I say it kind of often, pretty much whenever I can, I'm a musician. And back in high school, we used to have...
I don't know why I thought that lead-up was going to be like, just so you know, I've said it before, I say it all the time, I am Mexican.
I'm so glad you said that, because I thought that too.
Funny enough,
I think it's just because about the topic of the episode today is like Mexican urban legends, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we both just had that in our brain ready to go.
I was like, he cannot think that I don't know he's Mexican.
No. But I am Mexican. I am also a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And back in high school, we used to have like it was kind of like a talent show, but primarily for singing.
Okay.
And yeah, I used to be very good at singing back before like my voice got destroyed.
What happened to your voice?
I don't want to talk about it.
Drugs. That's gonna be my guess.
It was drugs. Yeah.
He went through puberty and he couldn't hit the high C anymore.
I could still hit a high C, by the way.
Now?
Yes.
He went from drinking high C's to singing them. That's
Don't
a
you
beverage.
I thank you.
Well, no one laughed, so I thought you didn't get the incredible.
Sorry, I had earpods on, so
I'm not trying to sexually harass you. I'm just trying to tell you about high C.
I'm really glad you said that because otherwise I would have assumed.
All right, so we had this like sort of like it was like a singing thing, and I would sing every year. So another thing that you need to know about me, I am also very lactose intolerant.
And Mexican.
Yes. So
now I think about that is not a friendly combo.
No. So in this particular year of that show, they decided to bring what was it, Jamba Juice? It was one of those
Juice it up.
I really shouldn't have drank anything before going up on stage, but I did because I fucking love those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. But I remember it was one that was very creamy. It was delicious. And I was up next at the show. So I was up there with my guitar. It wasn't a guitar that you plugged in. They had to put a microphone on my guitar.
Oh, God.
Middle of, I think it was like I'm Yours by Jason Mraz that I was singing.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute.
I just let it rip in front of an audience.
And did the mic pick it up? Just, I'm yours.
It's been like almost 10 years.
No,
and I can't get over it.
That's bad.
Thank you for having a story that, like, at least was funny.
Yeah, it took the heat off of Jeremy for a minute.
Because everyone else is probably sitting like, I just cannot get over the fact that story was so cringy. And then you told yours, like, oh, that's fucking nothing, dude. Don't worry about it.
Just the fact I was like 15 or 16. I was very self-conscious.
Oh yeah, that just ruins your high school. Like,
oh, dude, it was
career.
terrible. The very next day, everyone was like, "Yo, did you really fart on stage?"
That was just a soundboard. That was all according to plan.
I love that idea of them being like, how did you get the fart sound effect to work on stage?
We couldn't have actually farted.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
What
What
are you doing?
self-respecting man would do that?
So, anyways.
Yeah. And then it was weird because he just listed off his bank routing number.
So, anyways, welcome to.
Ooh, you are on fire
I
today.
know, right?
That was a good one. I
Yeah.
like that.
Welcome to Crack Open and Cryptid. I'm Adrian Castro.
I'm Tyler Shifley.
And I'm Jeremy Savage Tate.
I was really hoping you would say, and I'm not trying to sexually harass you.
He can't say that.
Dude, I love this. I love that I had this idea of, like, tell us embarrassing stories, because that's just an anecdote farm right
Oh,
there.
sure.
Like, every week we could come in and just be like, all right, let me tell you about this time.
Well, because I wanted to tell a story that at least lived on the level of like, that is embarrassing. That's not great. Because most of my embarrassing stories are fucking hilarious. Like, I'll be telling those boys all day, you know?
We were talking about this between the episodes today. Your yeehaw story from a few episodes ago
Yeah.
is one of my favorite stories ever told.
It's a great story. And I don't feel embarrassed in the slight because that's a hilarious thing. That's just called conflict in my life that leads to fun stories.
As of this recording, the last episode that went up was the Atlantis episode.
Mm-hmm.
And in that one, you told us the story about how you were like 13 years old walking down the street, saw a dude in a sick car. You gave him a thumbs up, 'cause it was a good car, and then a woman came up from his lap and gave you a thumbs up.
Good times. Good times.
God
You,
damn
you,
it.
you live an exciting life.
You know, it's funny for the amount of times I go outside, which is very limited. There's a lot of stories of me going outside and just fucking weird things happening.
God damn it.
I only go outside if I know something good's gonna happen. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
don't even fucking bother
When
if it's gonna be a regular day.
When I was learning how to drive, just a quick little one.
Mm-hmm.
When I was learning how to drive, whenever I was in the car with my mom, everything would go perfect. I like to think I'm a pretty good driver.
Mm-hmm.
Everything would go totally fine. I did great, whatever. Anytime my dad was in the car with me, it was like the world wanted to curse this vehicle. There was one time where I was turning to get on the on-ramp to a freeway on an already weird intersection, when a bunch of sirens went off from like every direction, and I look over towards my right, and a fire truck is barreling directly at me, slamming their horn. I'm like, what do I do? And so I floored it in reverse, went into like the median, and then from behind me, another fire truck was coming up in the median, blaring its horn because it needed to come and then turn around. And I'm like, oh my God, the first one passed, so I floored to get onto the freeway, just to get onto the freeway to have 3 police cars like basically cut me off, which I'm not mad about because, you know, like what am I gonna do? Cut me off onto the freeway, all of them blaring their horn. I'm just like and that was like every time I ever drove with my dad. Like to this day, if he's the only other person in the car with me, it is a cursed drive.
Anxiety is what I just got there. That is what I like, because there are times even today where I will hear like a siren in the distance. I'm like, do I stop? Do I stop? Is it coming towards me? Do I need to stop? I'll just stop. Okay, all the cars behind me aren't stopping. Maybe I'm just getting in the way. Do I stop?
Oh yeah, no dude, I go through that every single time. But this time was like, if I do not move, I will die.
No, you're just like, you know what, it's fine. I'll just drive off this bridge onto the freeway. I'll get
I'll
there.
do it for you. Like,
Anyways.
tell me about Mexico.
All right, Mexico. It's a great place.
When was it
Is it?
founded?
I actually have no idea.
When did they earn their independence from Spain?
That was in the year. I actually have no idea.
Why is it celebrated by 5 jars of mayonnaise?
5 jars of. Oh, fuck you.
Cinco de Mayo.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. No, yeah. So we're talking about actually Mexican urban legends.
Why is everyone so hot over there?
Cause it's like 120 degrees.
And
I don't know shit
good
about.
genes
yeah.
down south.
Yeah.
They do make good jeans.
Yeah.
Pretty good genes. No, yeah, we're talking about Mexican urban legends, aka everything that terrorized me as a child growing up, and again to this day still kind of does. So yeah, just like Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks, like there's a ton of Mexican stories that are passed down on tradition.
Mhm.
Like they've been around for centuries. Like, you know, our grandparents heard them. They told it to our parents, and you know, blah 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 blah. So a lot of these are stories that aren't really recorded all that much,
Mhm.
and this is just the definition of an urban legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, it's just stories that are retold over and over and over that may be true, but may also not be.
Basically, the beginning of every cryptid.
Yeah. The first one, by the way, is actually something that we can actually go visit. It's not the Island of the Dolls.
Oh, damn it! Are you going to talk about the Island of Dolls?
Eventually.
Okay.
Not today. But anyways, we're not talking about the Island of the Dolls, even though that would be a great topic, and I really want to visit it one day.
Oh my god, so bad. I'm going to hate every moment of it.
Yeah. You might hate every moment of this, because the first topic is going to be about one of my biggest fears, and that's mannequins.
Okay.
Oh god, I hate mannequins.
So in Chihuahua,
That's a dog.
that is the dog, yes. It's also a city in Mexico.
Is
That's pretty
Chihuahua
fucking-
a city? I thought it was like a state.
Yeah, I thought it was
It's a
Mexico
state,
Okay,
yeah.
but every city in Mexico is named after the state.
Exactly. Yeah, there's literally like Mexico City. There's El DF, which is the district. I actually don't remember. I'm a little buzzed right now.
Fake Mexican confirmed.
Because I know Chihuahua is like one of the more dangerous areas of Mexico.
It is.
Uh,
Don't go there without a guide.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a mannequin that is very, very famous in Chihuahua. To start off with, embalmed, of course, like mummies and like dead bodies, it's become kind of acceptable to go visit them. Like in the Vatican, there's popes that you could like go visit their bodies.
And like you can see King Tut's mummy
Yeah,
and stuff.
Lenin, you could actually see his preserved body.
Lenin got embalmed?
Yeah.
He's like posed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
like sitting in a chair.
I don't like that he's
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's like taxidermy on people.
Yeah.
So all of that, for some reason, is acceptable. However, there is one mannequin in Chihuahua that a lot of people say it is very possible that it is actually an embalmed corpse, but it's never been confirmed.
Is it at like a store? I feel like that's an easy thing to confirm.
Yeah, you go up to it and go like, yep, that's flesh. Like,
So this is the mannequin in question. It's called La Pascualita.
well, it's already creepy as shit and I hate it.
So it's a mannequin that is wearing a bride gown.
Mm-hmm.
Super lifelike, like hyper lifelike. They haven't been able to like get a clean DNA sample of it for whatever reason.
Can't you
But
just
they
go off
can
and be
get
like,
a
does the
DNA
head
sample?
Does the head pop off? Like,
I have no idea.
Okay, because how old is it? Because I know for a very long time, mannequins used to be made of wax, so they were more like wax figurines. Is that the? Is that
We'll get. I
Okay.
remember I remember
Go through
finding
the story.
link.
I'll-
now is this a real? Hold that thought. We'll get to that, or is this another?
No, this
lie?
is this is an actual. Hold that thought. We'll get to that because
because she's
kind
actually a
of.
vampire.
kind of.
What's the gravity like around this mannequin?
Is it relegated to the tent, or is the zipper frozen? Because we know that stops the gravity.
No, yeah, it's just like it's behind. It's in the store, like a bride's gown store or whatever. But it's surprisingly lifelike, especially for a fucking mannequin. So people have been taking note ever since the doll first appeared in the window of this bridal store back in 1930. So the locals were immediately struck not only by the mannequin's lifelike appearance, but its close resemblance to the daughter of the shop owner at the time, Pascuala Esparza, who died like a few months before this thing went up.
Gross.
Yeah. So according to the story, the daughter was preparing to be married when she was tragically bitten by a black widow and succumbed to its poison. Actually, on her wedding day.
Black widows scare the shit out of me. Just the fact that there's these tiny little bugs that'll just murder you dead.
You're probably not gonna die from Black Widow.
Really?
Well, isn't
This is something I've been afraid of my entire fucking life.
It'll hurt like a bitch. Like you will be in agonizing pain, but you will probably survive it.
Oh, cool.
Well, isn't the thing like
it's
you're
the
fine as
recluse,
long
right? That kills you dead.
Huh?
Is
The,
it?
like brown recluse or something.
It's
It's native to like California and like 3 other places.
brown recluse can also.
Probably won't murder me dead, but it'll hurt like a bitch.
I mean, both these things are going to be things you're going to want to go to the hospital regardless. But with just the way medicine works, they will basically keep you alive.
Dope.
If you get bitten in the middle of a forest, you might be in a much worse position.
Shit. Can't go to any forest for the rest of my
Yeah.
life.
Brown recluse, I know, like when they bite you, your body will, the area will be so necrotic that like you can have like literally a huge chunk of your flesh falling off.
There was one day where
fuck?
I was with my dad, and we went to go visit one of his friends who has like these big overgrown trees.
Mhm.
And we got in the car. My dad was obviously driving, and I was in the passenger seat. And he kept scratching his head while we were talking, and then he swatted his head because apparently there was a brown recluse crawling on top of his head. It didn't bite him, but he smacked it, and then it landed on my leg.
Mm.
And I remember we were driving, and I opened the door to the car and swatted it out the door. And I was so fucking scared. I was scared shitless because I was just like, it's a big ass spider you just flicked on my leg, Dad.
Anyway, so she died by a black widow bite.
Yeah. On the day of her wedding,
Killed her dad.
actually. So, yeah, like a few months later, this mannequin that looks just like her went up on the store. Very lifelike. Yeah, like insane details to this mannequin. Looks like there's veins, going through her. It's
Yeah, like when you look at
super-
when you look at like your wrist, you can see that vein.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. So over the years, customers have claimed that La Pascualita's eyes follow them as they walk around the store, or they turn around and she's suddenly in a different position than she
See,
was at.
I was gonna say the eyes falling around. That's just like a common optical illusion, but her moving, not a common optical illusion.
It was the wind. She's on. got,
She's
like,
on roller.
armatures.
She's on roller skates.
Yeah.
The wind just blows and she goes woo.
No, yeah, like she'll be in a different pose, or she'll be like in another part of the store
Don't
entirely.
like that.
Yeah,
I feel like the shop owners are gotta be like,
We're gonna fuck with people.
yeah, let's keep this, is what they say.
I like the idea that they just have like 5 of them,
that I feel like I would pull something like that.
Oh,
That would be
hell yeah.
amazing.
and you just all you do is you just hide one of them and put up another one.
God.
It retracts in the wall.
Oh
'Cause another
yeah,
one pops
it's like a
out.
Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So her presence is rumored to even unnerve some of the shop owners, with one claiming, "Every time I go near La Pascualita, my hands break out into sweat. Her hands are very realistic, and she even has varicose veins on her leg."
Was
Yeah,
was the daughter like an alcoholic?
not sure.
Oh.
That's one of those details that like just gets kind of lost to
Yeah,
time.
just
Yeah.
people. The point is, people like notice like very
Yeah.
human aspects. I guess.
Yes, exactly. Which again, this is the 1930s. At the time, like mannequins were just like pale
Not very
face.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe made out of wood. I don't fucking know. Another local legend claims that La Pascualita is indeed a mannequin, or at least started out that way. According to this version of the story, a visiting French magician became so entranced. I know.
Sorry, I love the. Okay.
Yeah. Not a French witch, a French magician.
What about a Belgian witch? What would you call a Belgian witch, Jeremy?
A frigician?
That's a joke that literally no one will get because we cut that
Yeah, I
episode.
don't. Yeah. I was just thinking about that.
Give me the audio. I'll
Okay,
put it on
okay,
Instagram
okay.
or something.
Okay.
So yeah, visiting French magician, my bad, became so entranced by the bridal mannequin that he would visit her window each night and bring her to life,
Creepy.
dancing with her and bringing her around town before returning her to the storefront each morning.
Is magician a mistranslation? Because like,
Do you mean wizard?
yeah, because is that like in Spanish it would have been like magic man?
Well, all right. So in Spanish, there's no differentiation between magician, wizard.
Okay.
that-
yes,
that was
yeah,
my-
exactly what you're. It just means a magic. person.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
in English that story's like a dude who doesn't have magic but claims he does showed up
Yeah,
and
a dude who can find your card in a deck showed up and danced with this mannequin.
yeah, that guy's not charging enough for his show.
But yeah, whatever the true origins, La Pascualita has become a local legend over the decades. The details of the doll's origins are almost impossible to confirm, which even the name Pascuala Esparza may have been an invention after the fact. It does seem improbable that an embalmed corpse would remain completely intact in the Mexican heat over the
Yeah,
course of 8 decades.
That's what I was thinking.
But the current owner seems to know that La Pascualita is at least good for business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
See,
Okay, you do your thing
Well,
first.
I was gonna say my guess was going to be, because I remember reading that before plastic there was like wax mannequins, so that might have just been a wax person. But I also know that those guys didn't last very long because they were big wax things, especially in like during summer, especially in Mexico.
Gotta keep those babies cold.
But also I know that people who are embalmed do not
Smell good?
or just look like
Oh, yeah.
you're not taxidermy.
Yeah, you do wither.
Yeah, they are. Here's like a totally irrelevant point that I'm going to tell you anyways. You know, embalming is only popular because Abraham Lincoln.
What?
No.
Yeah,
I thought he just killed vampires.
yeah, he did kill vampires, and he also popularized embalming because, look, here's a fun fact for you: you do not need to be embalmed.
No.
It is an absolute worthless thing to buy
Yeah.
when someone dies, because all it does is it stops you from decomposing.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. So you're gonna let's say you're around an extra 300 years. I'm just making a number up off the top of my head. Who cares? You're not coming back. But on top of that, when Abraham Lincoln died, they were basically transporting his body around the country to be like, hey, your president got killed, but you can come and see him to pay respects. And they needed his body to not wither away, so they embalmed his body then, which was really uncommon at the time. And because his body got embalmed, a lot of rich people were like, well, why shouldn't I be embalmed? And it just...
This guy's got a good head on his shoulders.
There's
a bullet in him, but a good head.
Also, Abraham Lincoln died of an infection, not because...
Yeah. Well, also the dude jumped off... John Wilkes Booth, by the way, is the name of the man. Jumped off the balcony or whatever and just fucking shattered his leg. Yeah.
Have you ever seen... There's a clip out there of some show in like the 1930s where like an old man goes up there. The show is called I Have a Secret or something like that.
Okay.
Where his secret was he saw Abraham Lincoln get murdered. And apparently he was so young that the only thing that he could think of at the time was, oh man, that poor man broke his leg.
I like that. I think he was in on it.
I'm just thinking like he just sees him. He's like, Sic Semper Tyrannis, and then he shoots him back in the head. And he's like, is this part of the play? What's going on up there?
So now what I was going to say is, first of all...
Oh, that wasn't bad.
That was good, yeah. Not a lot of fizzle on that one, though.
Yeah, but it had a nice, crisp opening.
It did. Oh, I forgot I hate this flavor. But is there something in Mexican history that is relevant to the fact that the dude was just fucking French?
Kind of. Dude, there's a lot of cultures that try to invade Mexico. I mean, we have some Japanese, Italian, French. I think the Germans tried. Yeah, Germany.
Germany tried a lot of things.
Yeah. I already said Italian, right? Italian, French.
Say it one more time.
But you...
Italian and French?
The French and the who?
And the Italians.
Oh.
No, yeah, that's why, like, okay, recently, me and my family did an Ancestry.com thing. I found out that I'm actually 31% Italian. That's the dominating gene in my blood right now.
Gabagool, pasta de pizza.
Whip out the mariachi band.
My favorite thing about when my parents did the Ancestry thing, I think it was 23andMe, but there's this cute animation where it shows a globe and the globe spins really fast and it's slowed down and it zooms in and it's like, this is your number 1 percentage and your number 2 all the way to number 10. It was just the world spun, Europe, spin, Europe, spin, Europe, spin, Europe. And it did that 10 times for both of them, except for my dad, where the last one was like 0.002 and it was just like Europe, 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 Europe. Africa? I was like, I'm worldly. But I just love seeing that animation. Just constantly going to Europe and the whole family's watching, being like, I mean, yeah. What did you expect?
Well, I learned this relatively recently, but those numbers are not as accurate as they would like to.
No.
No, of course not.
The only accurate ones are in like Denmark or something, right?
Well, the thing is that they can pretty much judge, your DNA based on the total sampling. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but the issue is that a lot of times they have to fill in the gap, and a lot of those things also have sliders of like, only show me the percentages that like you are damn sure about, and usually you'll only get about 10% of the DNA. They're like, yeah, we know exactly where this is from. The other 90% we're just kind of guessing based off of.
Well, in the defense of my heritage, it was like 50%, and it just said Northern Europe. So I think they're on to something there.
All right, so moving on. we're gonna talk about one of my childhood fears.
Oh, so we're rapid firing.
Yeah, it's like one of the rapid fire cryptid
multiple.
ones.
Oh man, we're gonna be hitting a whole bunch of Lincoln stories today.
Oh baby, this guy's got Lincoln facts up the fucking sleeve, dude.
All right, so
He's a Lincoln magic man.
So in my hometown, there's a legend. Which,
your
by the way,
hometown?
my family is from Nayarit, and there's a legend of a woman.
Of the Hidden Temple, yeah, we've all seen it.
You know, I've never actually seen that show.
It was fun. Go on.
So there's a legend of a woman who haunts a very specific road. I don't know the name of the road, I will be honest, but everyone in my hometown knows it.
Main Street.
That's
Yes,
the one.
it's Main Street. So it's a specific road that it leads. It goes around a cliff. Like, it's very dangerous. Like, you know how over here when you like go like on the freeway, they have the railing so that like, you know, if you do accidentally like spin, you'll at least hit that.
They do not stop you.
They
by the
don't
way.
have that.
It's
at
exactly the same.
Really? I don't know.
What do you mean they won't stop me?
They're not strong enough. Like, if they've been there for a long time, their foundation is like just crumbled, and they like just won't stop you unless you're going like 10 miles per hour.
Wouldn't the foundation for the bridge be the bridge that I'm currently on?
No, not the bridge. The ones on the bends.
Oh, I see
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you again, but I'm going to interrupt you.
Okay.
Are you gonna make a joke about the woman who
Not making
came
a
around the
joke,
mountain when she came?
When she came.
When she came.
No, but good joke. Can I ask you a couple of questions about this woman's appearance?
Sure.
Does she have red hair?
Yeah.
Does she scream at you when she gets in your car?
I haven't heard about that.
Okay, there's
But-
actually a very common myth around the world of a redheaded hitchhiker. It's sometimes they're male, sometimes they're female, but they ask you to drive them basically to the next town over, and they get in your car and they sit in the passenger seat and they will not answer questions. They'll just sit there and just do nothing until eventually they turn to you and they just fucking scream and then disappear.
Tyler ruined my bit.
Yeah, that is a super common urban legend.
I thought I was hearing Mexican folklore. Here
No,
today,
that's the thing,
And
it
now
is.
you're lying to me. You're saying this is a worldly
No, okay.
thing?
So this is why it's so weird, because like this is Mexico. Literally everyone over there is brown. Yet,
Right.
Yet for some reason, everyone thinks that this is a tourist that like.
Is she white?
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a common thing in the legend. It's a white redheaded person.
Yes.
I wonder why. Because, like, you often gotta associate, like, paleness for being kind of creepy. Like, people who
Yeah.
have no...
I shouldn't say white. I should say pale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but because again, over there, like 90% of the population is brown or like tan or whatever. But there's
the 10%.
Light skinned Mexican.
it's the ones that like are direct descendants from Europeans and
Yeah.
Italians and stuff.
It's the difference between the Native American blood and the Spanish blood.
So you're telling me that there's...
There's two types of Mexican.
Well, I know there...
There's multiple.
There's two. Take it or leave it.
which ones are the dark skinned? The natives?
The
Okay.
natives, yeah.
Because Spanish people are white.
Right.
Yeah, and like my specific town is very, very like native. Like we call each other coras because that's like
Oh, the
native.
Avatar.
Yeah, actually, kind of. It's spelled very
Oh my
similar. And I don't know why I never put that together.
And she's dark skinned.
And she is dark skinned.
Fuck, are you a waterbender? Don't lie.
Maybe.
Don't lie.
Yes.
Quick,
I knew it.
throw this glass of
Just
water at
squeeze
him.
this water out.
No, yeah, and it's the weirdest legend ever. But like, all right, so in this piece of road, in this bend, there are each year anywhere from 25 to 50 car accidents. And almost everyone that has survived has told the same story. Like either there was a person, like a redheaded person in the middle of the road that like made me swerve, or like, oh, I saw somebody and then like I passed them, and then when I look in my rearview mirror, she's there.
I'm so sorry I ruined your story.
It's all good.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm not so sorry, but I'm like a little sorry. I'm so sorry I have to drink this because it sucks.
What's the brand? Make sure we don't get sponsored by them.
So it's actually from the Truly's Fruit Punch hard seltzers, which are all good except for the citrus punch one.
Yeah. Hey, Truly's, get your fucking shit together. Like,
3 out of 4 Truly's? Come on.
Yeah.
That's basically failing in the American system.
yeah. So,
Kind of.
How,
So it's actually very common to like see this woman, but the deal is, if you do pass her, give her a ride. The story, as far as I know it, she won't scream at you, but she will like get in the car, tell you to go. Oh, I want to go here. Will not say a word for the entire ride, and then at some point, while you're not paying attention, she will just disappear.
Oh wow. Okay, so she doesn't fuck with you.
No, no, but it is very common. Personal story, kind of. My dad went to a trip out there. So he had to take a bus from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara.
I know both of those places, but I say I'm like a white person.
Yeah, Puerto Vallarta and
Guadalajara. Yeah.
Yeah. So that bus that he was supposed to take actually crashed and killed 17 out of the 35 people that were on it.
Oh my God.
And everyone who has survived like told the same thing. Like everything was fine, and then the bus driver he panicked and drove the bus off the road, off the cliff, off the same cliff. There were some people that said that they actually saw a hitchhiker on the side of the road,
But like they didn't pick her up. Interesting.
Yeah. So
that is where it differs from the like bigger urban legend, because if you don't pick them up, they just don't do anything.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
Yeah, right.
What a shitty ghost. It's just
Right.
like, oh no, it's fine. Yeah,
Oh, thanks for being a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my dad for whatever reason didn't take that bus ride, but he was supposed to.
He wasn't even on the bus.
He wasn't even on the bus.
He was just supposed to be on it.
He was about to get on, and a redhead walked up and was just like, hey.
Don't go to the bus tomorrow.
But yeah, so that's a local legend from where I'm at.
You were cool. Don't go to the bus tomorrow.
Exactly the joke I was going for.
Yeah, but local legend scared me off of drive. I will never, ever, 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 ever drive in the roads of my hometown, because fuck that. I don't believe in ghosts, but I'm not gonna risk it. So, anyways, last one is my personal boogeyman growing up, and the boogeyman of several people, almost every
Jeremy
Mexican
Savage
show.
Tate.
Yes.
He's at least
Before
the
you met me,
He's at least the boogeyman of that one lady.
yeah, just constantly, she's like, what the fuck? Well, I can't even ride my bike in this town.
Sorry, I like to imagine like at a later date, you were just shopping and she just saw you in the store and was like, all right, I can go shopping tomorrow. I like to imagine she just keeps running into you by accident.
I love the idea that you think that when I'm in a store, people know I'm there. I'm like a ninja when I go into a store. I get in, I get out.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm like, what's on the list? Get those items, pay for them, leave. That's it.
See, I'm the complete opposite. I go around every aisle to see if there's shit that I don't need but want.
I was once looking for beef stock, and I just could not figure out what aisle it would be in. You would think, you'd think the soup aisle.
Oh.
But the thing is that I couldn't find the soup aisle. I was like, literally, it got to a point where my watch, I just tagged like, hey, I'm going for a walk right now, because it'll give me a little map of how far. I walked like 2 miles looking for the soup aisle, and at one point I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just ask someone. I'll get over my anxiety. And I walked up to someone and said, hey, excuse me, do you know where the soup aisle is? And the dude was like, oh, I don't work here. And I was like, okay.
And then he was like, why are you trying to sexually harass me? And you're like, I'm not.
Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to ask.
Then you tailfish peeled out your cart and almost hit him, right?
No, I tailfish peeled up my cart and just like swerved around the bend. I did that thing where you push your cart and you step onto the onto the back and then you zoom in.
Then you drove by on the cart a redheaded woman who was like, "Can I get a ride?"
I was gonna hop in the basket. What's your boogeyman?
Yeah, tell us about your boogeyman.
Did you grow up in Mexico?
The first 3 years of my life, yes. It's actually a boogie woman. Very popular
Now,
boogie
this is
woman.
A lot sexier.
So we're about to talk about La Llorona.
Oh, I saw a terrible movie about her.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
What? You didn't like that movie?
No, that's no.
The masterpiece is what I like to call it.
The La Llorona.
Yeah.
God, it still hurts.
Why are there so many L's in a word that is pronounced with a Y?
I don't know.
Spanish.
Spanish is a weird language.
Jeremy, why do the letters C and K also exist in the English language?
Also, is it pronounced ch or k?
Which one?
Yes.
C and H.
CH? It's ch.
What about the word character?
It's a character.
Yeah,
please?
character.
Oh.
I
guess
really
I didn't learn English. So
Quick aside about the English language. Pisses me off every time I think about this. Q is the most useless fucking letter in the world because Q cannot exist in a word without being followed by a U in the English language. So why the fuck do we have it if it has to be QU, but it makes the same noise as two other fucking letters?
I think there are words where there are Q and not a U afterwards.
But they're very rare.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one, but I can't. Anyways,
Pisses me off.
QAnon.
What does the Q in QAnon stand for?
It's
actually?
supposedly the name of the.
it's signed like -Q every
Yeah.
single one of his posts.
So it's the anonymous Q user.
He's a bad person.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't want to go onto a big political rant, but I'm going to point out for the longest time, when people were saying, like, this is like the Q drops or what they're called, where the information that he's releasing, I thought they were at least to some level coherent, but they are not. They are literally like looking at a bullet list of irrelevant information that you have to decode.
I'm going to have to, I've never read one.
all right.
Yeah.
If you have the time, there's an HBO documentary.
To listen to me whine? Sorry, I had to say it because I was drinking, but...
I hate you. No, there's actually there's an HBO documentary, very interesting, where they go into like who Q possibly could be and the effect on it, and you realize that like, oh yeah, this is just some asshole that's tricking a lot of people.
Well, to my knowledge, we just know who he is.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
we do.
So he's not
Absolutely.
QAnon, he's just some dude?
Well, because the thing is, there was one dude who I think, because it's on 8kun, which is basically 8chan.
Which is a play off of 4chan.
Well, yeah, because like there are multiple chans.
The infamous hacker 4chan.
Yeah. I think 4chan's stupid, so I don't even give a shit to even figure out what the fuck the 6chan and the 2chan and the 8chan
I didn't
are.
know there were more. I
But
just go on Reddit, man.
8kun was like, I think was like their rebranding. Like it's the same website, they've just given it a but I remember that there was a stream where this dude who was like a really big QAnon guy was like talking about something, and the guy he's talking to is like, where are you getting this information? Like, you just showed me something that I don't see, when I look for it. And he was like, oh, and he just like closes the page. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. And so people are like, yeah, we're fairly certain that he just pulled up like his personal profile and read something up that hadn't published. And so like they were like, it's clearly him.
That's very good.
So La Llorona
is what it is.
Yeah, tell me about the weeping woman or whatever.
It's
right.
the crying lady.
So
It's
in
something like
Latin
that.
American folklore, La Llorona, or the weeping woman,
There it is.
The crying.
otherwise known as the wailer, weird name.
She's
she's
got
like
a big
the-
ol' harpoon.
Yeah, so it's a ghost story of a woman who roams through waterfront areas looking for her lost children. So generations of Mexican children have grown up with the tale of La Llorona, and not just Mexican, like basically all.
Just
It's
Spanish, right?
it's spread throughout South America.
Because isn't it also relevant in even California as
Yeah.
well?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I
That's
would
why
argue
I
it's
know
the
about it.
most relevant in California.
Because it happened in what eventually became California.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, that's where the story originates.
Yeah.
From.
When it was Mexico.
Yeah.
And deservedly so.
Actually, the actual tale originated in a town.
We stole most of the West Coast.
And it's very
Yeah.
weird. He looked at me like, ooh, better cover our bases there. Just in case anyone comes back asking for California.
Well, it's like we got Texas because a bunch of white people moved in and was like, this belongs to us now. And Mexico was like, no, it doesn't. And the United States was like, you heard him, Mexico. That belongs to us now.
Well, if memory serves, it's even weirder than that, because Mexico was like, look, you can be here, but you have to follow our laws. And then they were like, nah, we're gonna not do that. And then they showed up and the Alamo happened. They're like, get the fuck out of our land. And then the U.S. was like, they attacked us.
Yes, literally, yes.
That is
for
yeah.
no
Us?
reason. All we did was invade their land, gentrify their area, not follow their laws, and then secede them from their nation to be part of ours, and they attacked us?
Yeah. Well, because I think we got them we like Texas became like a more of a
we got him.
Oh, we got him. We got him, boys. That's what we that's what we said as we rode on in. So remember this one.
We'll never forget this event.
God. No, yeah. The actual story originates in a town that is very close to where we're at right now. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. All right. So the story differs depending on who's telling it, but I'm gonna tell you the version that I know.
Yeah.
This is the version that they told me as a kid to terrify me.
I mean, I kind of know a little bit about it. I once saw the movie, and I also have a basic idea of the folklore. So I'm curious as to what is different.
So, story time.
Mm-hmm.
Long ago, an indigenous woman from Mexico named Maria was wed to a rich conquistador. She was very much in love with him, and eventually ended up giving birth to 2 of his children. Eventually, he had to go back to Spain because there was a Spanish Civil War that he had to go fight in. And eventually, he reportedly met his fate on the battlefield. So, Maria was inconsolable after the news. She eventually found solace in knowing that, okay, well, at least he left a piece of himself with me. You know, we have children together, so, like, a little bit of him is still with me.
Mm-hmm.
A few years had passed, and Maria never wed again. She was too in love with him. She just didn't want anything to do with anybody else. On one fateful day, she and her children took a stroll out by the riverbank near her home. When, at that point, a carriage rolled up. Now, carriages back then, they were very, very rare. Like, only the wealthy would even own.
What year is this?
This was like around 1930s. No, earlier than that.
Oh, this is... sorry, this is way later.
Yeah, I thought this was way earlier.
Yeah.
No, the story's not that old.
Did they still call them conquistadors?
Okay, now I'm just getting hit with like a Spanish history that I didn't know about.
So here's the thing.
I know very little about Spanish history, and I should probably know more.
Wow. No, yeah. So very curious. Like they wanted to see the rich people, so they waited around, and when the cart came around, they saw the man, the conquistador, who supposedly fell in battle. He was there with his wife and new children. So out of rage, Maria, she felt another, great sadness and great rage. The only thing she could think of to, make him mad, make him, sad in any way, was to take away the one thing that she thought he would love, which were their children. So she grabbed them, threw them in the riverbank, and drowned the kids. By the time that she realized what she had done, it was too late. The kids had died. She was eventually taken into an insane asylum that was at the top of the hill of this village, where every single day she would cry out for the entire day so loudly that everyone in the village could hear. Eventually, they nicknamed her La Llorona, and she cried every single day until the day that she died. Years later, people could still hear that same cry coming across from the riverbank. There were a ton of people that say that she's just been wandering this entire time, looking for the souls of her lost children. So apparently, she's gotten out of the riverbank, and she walks the streets of Mexico in the dead of night, looking for any child who is still out there, hoping that maybe this is the soul of her lost child. And that's why we don't go out at night alone.
Because you'll become that woman's new child soul.
Yeah.
Is that the story that you'd tell kids to be like, hey, don't fucking hold my hand before you cross the street? You want the La Llorona to...
Yes, exactly.
Scoop ya.
Exactly.
That is very similar to the story I know of La Llorona. But you were saying that it does vary depending on where you are.
It varies depending on where you are and who's telling it. There are also surprisingly a ton of missing child cases that have early on that were linked back to her. Of course, none of this has been confirmed, but
they're like, ghost got him. Don't bother looking.
Dude, have you ever looked at police reports from back in the day?
No, yeah,
a lot of them
crazy.
are just yep, kidnapping. They got kidnapped and they're not here. It's I can literally see their dead body in front of me. How were they kidnapped? And they're never found the body. They were kidnapped. And it's but.
Have you ever seen the movie The Changeling?
No.
Okay, it's a Clint Eastwood movie, and it stars Angelina Jolie, but it's basically about how Angelina Jolie's son gets kidnapped, and then the police find him and bring him back, but she's like, that's just like some other kid. Like this clearly isn't my kid, and this is based on a true story. And the police were basically like, nah, that's your kid. You just don't remember. Like they were like gaslighting her into thinking that was like her kid.
That's creepy and weird.
And they ended up never finding this kid before, but I think what ended up happening, at least this is how the movie tells it, they did find another kid who was like, yeah, we were all like kidnapped by like this particular serial killer, and he actually did, like, your kid did help a lot of people escape, and the police got to him because of him, but like no one had seen the kid since, so it's whether or not he was able to get back. That's very much the kind of police stuff that I that we're talking about here, of like, oh, you think you would recognize your own child? Yeah, I think you're a little bit wrong there, honey.
Yeah, the only variations I've really heard on the Ya Llorona story is I've heard that she drowned the kids in the bathtub. That's one of them.
I've never heard that one.
Well, she goes for any water source. There's a glass of water nearby. She just pours it.
And the time I heard that description was, it was almost like, Bloody Mary shows up in mirrors. Ya Llorona shows up in like water sources. Like it could be any water source kind of thing.
No, yeah, there's the story that I know. She's just wandering around, just looking for.
That's more.
Yeah, that's the one I normally hear.
Yeah.
That's just a variation I've heard. I didn't know that the reason she drowned the kids was because she saw her ex-husband with someone.
That was also new to me.
Yeah, no, well, again, from the stories from what I've been told, that is like, it was more of like a crime of, I don't know if this is the term, but like a crime of passion.
I think
like
that
it was very
is the
in
term.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was just in the moment, like, oh man.
That's
like,
exactly the term.
Yeah, like nothing I could do could hurt him except fucking tossing the kids in the river.
That is like a very weird thing to me, because it feels like a more realistic explanation is she wouldn't want to see the kids that reminded her of which, I mean, I'm sure that's one tale.
To make them real fucking mad.
That it could be one tale. Yeah.
She was just like, hey, you remember these guys? Yeah. How about now? Probably really pisses you off, doesn't it?
And they were just like, not really.
What?
She just goes,
but
why not kill her husband and his wife? That feels like that's more of a.
They were too big. They were bigger than the kids. The kids were easier to keep underwater.
Yeah, plus they're right there.
They're right fucking there. She'd have to go all the way to the carriage.
She'd have to pull them out.
And like, who's gonna let you pull them out of a carriage?
They didn't have guns. She can walk up, just like cap them. Reload her musket.
I believe part of the story was that she was poor, and if this was 1930, they were past muskets, big guy.
Yeah, she didn't have the money to upgrade, therefore she was still stuck with a musket.
It was either the musket or the blunderbuss.
Well, I think it was more like around the 1900s. The tale originates like it started being told around 1930. I think.
So the events would have been.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like, they would have had World War I era weapons.
That's correct, yeah.
She could have whipped out her Mauser and been like...
You have crossed me for the last time? See, she was from Argentina, actually.
But that's my boogeyman. I'm still terrified of La Llorona to this day.
I often see her depicted as like a bride, or she has a veil over her head.
Yeah, she's like a real hottie, but then gets real spooky.
Kind of. I don't know what
that one.
No, I see that one a lot. That's not even a joke. I see that a lot, where she's like a real fucking hottie, and then she gets spooky.
She's just sitting by the river naked, and she's like, "Hey, you want to go skinny dipping?" She's like, "Well, I don't mind if I do." And then she's like, "Psych, I'm drowning you." And it's like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah. And then you see two kids down there, and you're like, "Well, how'd you get here?"
You too?
First time.
But those are the urban legends that terrified me as a kid. Well, except for the mannequin, that just terrifies me right now.
I don't like mannequins like to start with.
See, here's the thing. The reason why that doesn't terrify me, because it's like, why don't you check?
Well, yeah. See, the fact that it could be a real person is just like, that seems very easily like verifiable.
See, my whole thing is just like, I'm terrified of mannequins already. Mm-hmm. You make a a very lifelike mannequin, like I'm out.
Well, like that's one of the things. It's like the only bit in horror games that can like get me is, even in real life, if I were to turn around right now, there's a big window in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to turn around right now, and you said you saw someone just peek their head in and it was kind of spooky, that's the shit that spooks me. When there's a person or a person-like thing somewhere where I didn't expect it to be.
Yeah.
That's why when the original Slenderman game came out, it fucked me up.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you can't you can't be teleporting behind me, dude. It is personnel, kid.
I feel it is a little odd for you to be like, you know what, something really scares me in video games? When something scary happens.